Is this thing working? We're officially live. Hi YouTube, this is my first live stream in a while. Let's get some background music going. And make sure this is indeed working, because I can't really see my phone, so if you guys are talking or anything, I won't be able to look at that. But I'm currently working on Bayonetta's Scarborough Fair pistol, and wanted to see how that, looks in my hand. And I'm just excited to work on it because I've been having a lot of fun with the game lately. Let's see if I can get this on the second screen over here. Really like to make sure this is all working well. It's my first live stream in a while, so I just need to make sure everything's set up, put together. There we go, let's turn off the sound. Huzzah! And interestingly enough, this is much more zoomed in on the phone than it is in real life. So we'll see about this. Alright, so these are my hands. This is me, and I have currently got this guy separated into layers. And I'm pretty much saying that, this is a... Can you see all this? There we go. I've got 1, 2, 3 layers here, and then this will be a separate part that'll break away, so all this is going to catch. So I'm just working on the back right now. And then the front part, I've got separated as well. These will be separated into individual pieces, and then I'll stack them together with MDF and hopefully glue it all up, and it'll actually break away. So, just right now, I'm kind of putting these things together in such a way. I've got this part already cut out, and I just need to make sure that it works. So I'm going to be building it out of styrofoam, and that way I can at least fit it. So I have rather large hands. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. So in a way you're gonna have to extend your pinky finger like Bayonetta does, but it should look pretty good considering the gun's gonna be like this big. Here's the sheet, so you guys get a better idea of what exactly is going on there. And that's just that for now. So right now what I'm going to be working on, since I have layer 1 done, I'm going to be working on this layer 2, and that's going to cover the trigger guard, and then it's going to work its way up to the pivot over here that's going to help it break away. So the pivot's going to be around this circle here. And let's just get to drawing that piece out, and working our way from the back forward. So, I'm not quite used to talking while I'm working. I haven't started a single part of this, so I'll just start drawing it up, tracing things as I go. I also haven't decided if I'm going to make some artistic changes, like if I want to actually give it a trigger, because really Bayonetta doesn't need triggers, just kind of fires at will, with will. I also noticed that this gun doesn't have an ejection port, so I guess it's like a breakaway, and the shells fly out like an old shotgun or a Derringer. And that kind of blows my mind because they're fully automatic in the game, but yeah, magic. Let me make sure I can see the chat for y'all. You probably won't be able to see these lines until I add the markings with the marker, and I'm aware of that. This part over here is going to be really interesting because the whole block of the gun needs to barrel over it when you break it away. So this will probably be perfectly circular, at least the top quarter part, around that there. So that needs to all be a solid piece. And I can refer back to this guy to make sure that I'm doing the right layer. So this will indeed... Now I think this circle is going to actually be part of the front. So this particular layer might not even have a slip for that, because I think the front's going to have to slip into it. I'll go ahead and draw it anyway, and I can cut it off later while I'm prototyping it with the foam core. I have this little magnifying glass here. It's just the right size for this circle. But a lot of this is just going to be line of sight, because I'm not the most precise person in the world. I just want to make sure that the details are there. And that it works. I feel like a prop you can play with is 10 times more fun than anything else. So, this is going to go straight up. Trigger guard around the side here. Down to the trigger. Back and around the grip. And hopefully every day is just a step closer to Adam Savage. Now I want to go full-size circle with this. Go straight up, maybe. That really wouldn't work, so the circle would have to be smaller than that. Because this line here is going to be a solid block that rolls off of this. So the whole circle is probably going to end up being something more like this. Or at least the front curve will be. Which that would probably work. If I just find this and that, draw a square, draw that, go straight down, there we go. Of course, this doesn't have to go straight down. It could also be a 45-degree angle, and that way it'd break up just so much and land on that. Yeah, and then it doesn't have to point straight down. It'd actually be more ergonomic. Let's say, I like that. All right, I'm gonna line this up, make sure I've got everything. There's the circle. Back here. Trigger guard. It's going to be the inside of the handle, all the way up the back. I'm going to go ahead and line this up and trim it as need be. Start with the hard angles first. I think that looks good. Oh, and I have my old piece here, so I can make sure it matches. See, now this is kind of in a slightly different position. If I put that right there, a little lower on this shell. Interesting. Alright, so I'm going to have to make some liberties between pieces and probably find my center from there. Yeah, let's do that. Draw on the roller instead of the paper, it's always good. That was sarcasm. Don't draw on the ruler. You want your marks on the paper. Just get this. I'm not sure if I want to guard the whole trigger or if I want to actually make it a gold trigger. That wouldn't exactly be canon. But I'm all for taking artistic liberties if I happen to like it better. I really gotta stop dragging my wrist on the table. Not what they teach you to do in art school. But it's so comfortable. So that's the second layer at that point. Let's scroll up on my TV here a little bit so I can see what's happening. So that should be this layer all the way up and then back down again. Let's try moving the camera so you can see my other work table. Welcome to my messy room. Now if I can do this without moving my camera too much, then it's going to be nice and comfy. What is this? 10. Yep, so that's the center of my screen. Let's do that. Bring that right over here. Get my chair out. Got my triangle. And let's go ahead. That phone cord out from over there. Wow. That's a bad angle. You always want to try to pull the knife towards yourself. You get more control that way, I think. And I want to count on the outside of these lines. So they'll be like a millimeter larger than they should. But then I'm going to do that again when I cut on the foam core. So when I'm eventually making the real model out of MDF, I can just sand everything down and they should all fit together. I like to have too much rather than too little. Might be holding my knife too firmly. I made that diagonal, but that's why I made it too big. There's a lot of curves here. I don't want to do this. Sometimes you want to draw it with a knife before you ever cut it. Just get used to the muscle memory. Little things you don't really think about until you're in the middle of doing it. And now it's coming out of my mouth. I got impatient and I went inside the line. But that's why you cut too big, right? What's up? That's why having a sharp knife is really nice. Where do I want to start from here? So I'll probably start again from right here. Don't cut yourself. Number one rule. There's a lot of number one rules. That could have been a sharper angle. I should probably be starting my cuts from these individual points and I'll end up with sharper points. But I can sand them down on the original model, on the end model, the MDF, really easily. And I can sand the foam core kind of, but the foam core, I'm really just prototyping up the foam core so I can make sure that the mechanics work and it feels good in the hand. Because I don't want to have to go to the hardware store and buy more MDF if I don't have to. I'll save that for more stuff later. That's going to go like this. Should be even larger. Now this is just generic, everyday 3/16 inch foam core that I got really wet and then I let it dry, and it works even better with soap water. But you slowly peel off the cardstock on it, and if you're really lazy, it comes out terrible. But if you're really good, it comes out awesome. And it's great for like all kinds of model building and prototyping. Just throw stuff together really quickly because the knife goes through it like butter. And if it doesn't, the hot knife definitely does. I'm gonna grab this because it's plastic fork based. Whatever this foam stuff is, I like using the Copic because it's alcohol based and it pretty much stains rather permanently. Actually, stain's a good word for it. It really legitimately stains rather than soaks. So now I'll cut on the inside of the line. And I'm not worried about this being pretty, I'm more worried about this being the general shape. And I'm going to need 2 of these. And if it sounds at any point in the video like I know what I'm doing, you can pretty much be guaranteed that I don't. I'm just figuring this out as I go. Which is why I decided to work on the back part first. The front part's got a lot of really interesting and complex geometry, especially around the gem. And I want to make sure that I've got that right. If I end up wanting to do another gun or another 3 guns, I want to make sure that I've figured out the simplest and most efficient method to make a good looking gun. Can I use as little foam core as possible, please? I put this big bend in here, it's terrible. You should probably tape this down, but I'm rushing. Meanwhile, in Vigrid, the military is gathering up. Nobody really gets why. I didn't even know there was like military in the game until like, I guess my 2nd playthrough, my 3rd playthrough, really? I stopped and realized that I was at an Air Force base. And then like my 3rd playthrough, I was staring at the soldiers and I'm like, oh, they're carrying MP5s. And I was like, there's real guns in this game with a ton of ornate stuff on them. And so I checked out the art book, and it turned out that a lot of Bayonetta's guns were based on real guns. There's like a Desert Eagle with giant golden wings flaming off of it that I guess would be great for beating people over the head with. And then somewhere along the line, I guess they were like, no, make them fake guns. Or rather, make them giant Derringers. I got marker on my fingers. Nope, that's the wrong side. It's a double-tipped marker, so the other cap's usually somewhere else. Butter. Never mind that. Nothing broke. That was a drill bit that fell off. That's a drill bit I'm going to use later for the barrels. So I've already done that measuring to make sure that that's going to kind of be snug. So I think I'm going to do the top and the bottom of the front in separate pieces so I can snug them against whatever size the barrels are going to end up being. side just a little bit. It's always been my weakness. Sorry to block the camera for a second. Good piece of scrap there. Oh, see, now I went way too far in on that side, so it's not going to be totally even. So what happens when you can cut things way too evenly? Hopefully once I get to the wood stage, I'll be a lot more patient. It's dragging around foam core with it now. Butter, 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 butter. Bread and butter, bread and butter, bread and butter. Just gonna keep going to the edge. Find that curve and continue it. And then it just stops right there. That's the sound of cardstock still on the other side that I need to tear it through. Probably have my knife way too horizontal for this one. Vertical it up a little bit. A lot of little cuts will help you make a good round edge. Yeah. And if it's not quite round enough, you can grab a bit of sandpaper. This is really hard sandpaper. I need to get a lighter block. That'll round it nice and neatly. Ideally, I'm going to round all three of these together. See how that ends up looking. Yeah, that came out really uneven. I don't know if you can see that. Gotta hold your knife straight. I got a little trash pan over here and just throw all this into. No need to hold on to all of it. This part, kind of, sort of, maybe. Gosh, I love a sharp knife. One more time. That one I'm going to go all the way to the edge because there's a hard angle here, remember? That's where the clasp is. Then around for the shape of the handle. And this time again, keeping the roundness all the way to that edge that I want to cut to. I think that makes for a better cut, to be honest. See, second time, it's always better, a little bit better with practice. I'm pretty sure like the fourth gun would come out looking amazing if I bothered making that many. I would usually say like hold on to your scrap, especially the larger pieces, because you never know what you can end up doing with them. I'm personally throwing them away because I have a drawer full of this stuff, but I don't know what to do with it. I usually end up using them for like trinkets and like miniature table displays or something. This is for like rocks or anything. Stair steps. Here comes the circle. A light angle on the brush on the knife, just enough to make it do some work. And I like to pull the foam core around it instead of pulling the knife. I caught something there. Should probably get the hot glue gun ready. But I don't think I'm going to be doing any gluing for a little while. I just want to make sure this stuff fits. So these will end up being 1/4 inch sheet of MDF. And then I've got the 3 layers here. I haven't decided if this one's going to be a 1/2 inch yet. See how that goes. So I'm really just working in 2D still. I haven't quite gotten to that other stage yet. I'm going to knock that off. Make sure these two are about the same size and shape. Actually, I'm going to tape these together. What do I do with my tape? Let's tape them at the 90-degree turn here. Little 90-degree bevel. Right about there, there's the trigger, there's the point. Points are usually the parts that are more precise whenever you're cutting something out. So you can kind of eyeball it from there. They're usually the bits that don't move around too much. Just choose one side instead of going at it. Hope it comes out for the best, right? Check the other side, make sure they're both on the smaller side of things. You can always cut some off, but you can't put some on. That's what filler's for, I guess. Like some wall stucco style filler, it's actually pretty useful. I'm like in no way a professional how to do it sort of tutorial guy, but I do like to think that I have some resourceful knowledge and ideas maybe you guys didn't think of before. Yeah. Oh, sort of. Car key in here somewhere. Computer chair hit the camera, my bad. That's looking about right. Got this weird divot here, it's kind of annoying. Especially when it's so much bigger over here. It should be a little bit smaller, but because you want to be able to see the trigger. So maybe I'll sharpen this up just a bit. Round that edge off. I guess ideally you want to form this so that there would be like a little bit of a haptic feedback, so you know when your finger is on and off the trigger, and that way you have better trigger discipline with it. You don't want to accidentally pull it. Oh, back parts. Let the blade do the work. If you're having to force the knife, then you're gonna tear it.